I think we'll start with a little tip, and that is, if you're feeling a little bit down, don't come out to a woodland with your camera in the expectation of getting a great image, because it's one of the most awkward places to get an image, as you probably know. I mean, obviously you can just snap, but they're going to look awful. In this video I want to talk about limiting your options, or rather limiting what you do, which will probably expand your options. Creating images in difficult places is perhaps not the greatest thing to do if you're trying to kind of lift yourself up a little bit. And yeah, there's a number of ways of looking at this. One, you could say, well, I'm bloody stupid. And two, you could say, he likes a challenge. And three, you could say, he also likes to cheat. I'll come to the cheating in a moment. One of the ways that you can work in woodland, it's a really interesting way, it makes you think about things differently, is to limit yourself to a very, very wide what's the word? You see, age, very, very wide aperture, my lenses go to f2.8, and I'm going to, as near as possible, stick to around f2.8, certainly below f5.6. See, I've already cheated. But the point is that by giving yourself a big wide aperture, you're giving yourself a very, 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 very small depth of field. And that can really help you hone subjects, home compositions and such, and particularly in difficult places like this. Because my first shot isn't in the woodland, it's shot from the woodland. And you may see that it's got a little bit brighter here. It's shot from the woodland, but not of the woodland, because if I turn around, we've got this nice big gap here, and beyond, which I'm hoping you can see, we've got Cromer Church. And it's framed rather nicely, and it's the view of Cromer Church I'm not familiar with. I have not walked up this path before, so I thought that's rather nice, and with a very, very shallow depth of field. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's we're never going to get them in focus anyway, because yeah, tree 8 foot away, church 1.5 miles away. But by really keeping that depth of field low, we can frame that quite nicely. So just a long lens, 150mm, 300mm, medium format, not medium format, full frame equivalent. Now, if I was going to go and shoot this again, I think I would get that close branch out of the shot, you know, the one that's blocking the foreground. But other than that, I think it's quite a nice shot. Let me know what you think. That's a very messy woodland, and I didn't get one shot in there. I got one shot looking out of there, but not in it. Hopefully I can try my luck a little more on the path here, which is basically following the cliffs. I may have made a mistake because the weather's changed in here quite a bit. One of the first things I spotted coming out here was a pigeon right on the edge of the cliff, just perched on a branch. I thought, I'll get that. I suppose he's only 15 foot away. He's right on the edge. Now this bird definitely knew something was going on. Luckily it stayed there just long enough for me to snap this. Definitely watching me, isn't it? The heavens opened and I rushed back to the woods, and as luck would have it, I wasn't the only one trying to get away from the rain. There's a couple down here who are walking with an umbrella, and again keeping a very open shutter, I've got quite a lot of things I can throw out of focus here. It's quite a nice little shot. Hold on, before they get too far. Something like that. Again, f3.5, I think. Just really focusing on just the subject, and it really helps. And it really helps with framing, is what I should say. One of the things that really kind of works here is that I can shoot through these leaves here and get some nice framing, which tells a bit more of the story. Although it does make me look a little bit like a peeping Tom. Using this technique of selective focus will really help you frame subjects. It will also help you understand your optics. I particularly like the compression effect here, which is really pronounced. It's really bringing that pier into the scene, despite it being about half a mile away. Walking up the path towards the lighthouse, and I have another opportunity for throwing the foreground heavily out of focus. In actual fact, I'll be honest, it would actually be probably quite difficult to keep it in focus. But deliberately I'm throwing it off. And I've got the path running right the way through here, leading straight up to a view of the lighthouse, and we're surrounded by the bracken and everything here. So at the bottom we've got an area of green bracken, which will probably be a bit underexposed and dark. And above it we've got the grey cloud base. Now you can see behind me it's actually quite interesting. It isn't too interesting this way, and that's a shame. However, the breeze is blowing it this way, so in a few minutes I should be able to get something that's halfway okay. Sometimes it's just the simplicity of an image that makes it work. That's why I like this one. We're often too obsessed with getting something else into a shot, putting it into context, whatever it is. There's an acronym that you must never forget: KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Now this is something I've been doing quite a lot of lately. It's shooting through something close at a subject that's further away and throwing the close thing out of focus. And you'll have seen this on on a lot of the shots I've already put up today, and I have an opportunity of doing it again here. I'm not so sure about this one. It's interfered with a little bit by these two very long pieces. There's one here which, can I bend it out of the way? Oh, it's dead anyway. There's another one that I can't reach up there, and they're reaching very much into the background. I don't know whether I like it or not. I'm going to come a little lower so I get a little bit more in the foreground. I probably only kept this shot in so I can introduce the next one. It's not that good, this one. One of the other things I've done is also focused on something very close with a recognisable landmark in the background. And the effect of that is that what you're doing is you're photographing something that's commonly photographed in a different way. And I think that's a really important thing to go and try to do and to practice, because in doing so you start to think about how you might present something that is commonly seen in a different way. So here, for instance, is a shot of Clyde Lighthouse, not Lighthouse, I've got lighthouses on the brain, Clyde Windmill, which is a very commonly shot subject, but it's very rarely ever seen in quite this way. Go to those honeypot landmarks as much as you can, but create something different. So I've made it up to the top of the hill, got a really lovely view of the lighthouse, still got this gorse. It's really very nice, I do like it. It's kind of layered, so what you can't see from that position is that there's a valley that kind of spreads out all over here. And indeed it just drops off between the tip of the gorse we can see over here and the lighthouse. So we've got a lot of layers, and I like the way in which this bush over in the top corner is interacting as well. I'm not sure I particularly like the gonzo kind of nose sticking out of it, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I might try and get that out, I'm not sure, but I've got a few shots from here, so I'll put one, maybe two up, and I might stay here for longer to wait until the sky oranges up a little bit. Just love the way that the layers build the depth on this shot. Those closest layers so soft in focus, and as you look deeper into the shot everything comes clear. It's a very useful compositional technique. And of course I did wait around for that sunset. I've actually been sitting on this video for about a month. I very nearly just didn't put it together because I did not have confidence in the photographs. As time's gone on, that's changed. And that's going to be the subject of a future video. But anyway, I abandoned the wide open aperture for this one because it just wouldn't work. I do like this shot. Don't forget, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.